A couple things I always think about this ecosystem, like there are a lot of really diverse partners, but there's also a lot of sameness in the ecosystem, which is understandable. A lot of people are trying to achieve the same goals. And so I always think about like, what are unique differentiators, right? Putting yourself in the position of a prospect or an existing HubSpot customer, when you are spoiled for choice, how do you make that choice, right? Like what sets certain partners apart? And so when I think about all the years I've been working with HarvestROI, I always come back to some like core principles. Dave and I used to always talk about, in the early days of inbound, when Brian Halligan would talk a lot about things like aligning vectors and like finding similar motivations and outcomes. And the dynamic concept of a vector is not just we're all going in the same direction, but how fast are we going and like what's really going to get us there. And a thing that I always appreciated was Dave was always going back to like core philosophical principles, like why we do what we do. The things that we care about when it comes to adoption and optimization always resonated, I think, with the audience of the customer success motion at HubSpot, right? And that's a group that cares a lot about the same things, but maybe not every partner was spending as much time thinking about that. And so there was a lot of easy outcomes as far as I'm concerned, because once I really understood the philosophy behind why the team was building things the way they were at HarvestROI and hierarchy of RevOps needs and just really like a true philosophy that they believed in, it made all the sense in the world that we found some natural pairings and some synergies with the stuff that HubSpot was doing. And so again, a lot that we find that we care about in our founding story, like not being afraid to zig when others zag and like staying true to your beliefs and what got you here. I think that's always been something I've appreciated about HarvestROI. On top of that too, it's not just about having a good story and a good human philosophy, but also not being afraid of the tech side of things. And so like finding that left brain, right brain balance is really, really hard, but it's something I think that the HarvestROI team has always done a really good job of balancing. It's like, how do we stay on the bleeding edge of technology, not being afraid of AI, but having a human-first approach to how we think about it, how we implement it, how we use it to drive business outcomes. Because at the end of the day, there's still humans on the other end of the keyboard, and that's something that I think I've always appreciated that HarvestROI kept at the core of why they do what they do. So it's always been easy to work with HarvestROI. I always appreciate the way they do things, and there's a natural synergy there.